Good day, my dear students. Welcome to Animal Production Swine Raising Enhancement Lesson. Happy watching, listening, and learning to everyone. Before we are going to proceed with our enhancement lesson, let us first have an opening prayer.
Your holy name on high. Your kingdom we proclaim and we glorify. We lift our hearts, our minds and ourselves today. Guide our thoughts, our acts and all we say. Be in our midst in all of the things we do, that we may know you deeper and be near you as we fulfill our lifelong vocation. Lord, be our source of inspiration, be our hands in times we lost our healing touch, be our eyes in times we miss our sight, be our lips in times we lost kind words to say, be our strength in times we're lost and tired, be in our minds that we shall speak with wisdom, be in our hearts that we shall teach with love, be in our spirit that we shall preach with faithfulness. All this we pray through Jesus Christ.
Again, welcome to our enhancement lesson. There are some rules that everyone should observe. One is be prepared. Choose your study space or find a good space for learning. Be in your most comfortable place. No eating or drinking if possible. Be attentive and focused to what I am saying, and prepare a pen and paper for taking notes. And please do watch and learn until the end of our lesson video. Let us first have a quick review of our last lesson. In our last lesson, we have learned about gestation, or also called pregnancy. We have learned that this is the period of time during which the sow is pregnant from its effective mating or fertilization until farrowing or giving birth. It is at this stage that the fetuses develops and grows inside the womb of the sow. We have also learned that an easy way to remember the length of gestation in swine is the rule of threes. Meaning to say, 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days for a total of 114 days. We also learned that pigs born a couple of days or early or late should be still healthy, because we have learned that gestation lengths can vary with its pregnancy. So you don't have to worry if your sow delivers at exactly 114 days for one pregnancy. and 116 days for the next pregnancy. We have also learned that there are different methods of pregnancy diagnosis in swine. We have learned 6. And these are the daily observation for estrus, amplitude tests, the Doppler tests, the vaginal biopsy, the serum analysis, and also the ultrasound. Let's try to watch this video. Class, based on the video clip, what do you think is our lesson all about? If your answer is PPE or personal protective equipment, then you are correct. Our topic or our enhancement lesson is about wearing of personal protective equipment or PPE. And for this enhancement lesson, we have some specific objectives. The following are our specific objectives. We need to understand the importance of personal protective equipment or PPE in the swine industry. We need to discuss personal protective equipment and basic infection control necessary to prevent the transmission of influenza virus from pigs to people. Another specific objective is to recognize signs of influenza in pigs. And the last is to appreciate the value of personal protective equipment in preventing the spread of diseases in swine farms and when collecting farm waste. Let us do the following activities. And please listen carefully to the instructions. The first activity is called picture prompt. You need to guess the picture before the word is completed. So stay alert, class. And the second activity is called Pick Me. All you have to do is pick out the sure signs of influenza virus in pigs among other signs. Are all the instructions clear? Let's proceed and have fun then. How did you find the activities? Was it easy? Of course, it was easy. And what was the activities all about? Well, it revolves around our enhancement lesson for today. Personal protective equipment or PPE and signs of influenza virus in pigs. Class, you need to realize that worker safety is a top priority in swine farms. When everyone is safe at work, our tasks are more enjoyable. It is not fun having an injury, and worst, get sick. So it is important to use the proper personal protective equipment and follow farm protocols so we can continue to work in a safe environment. PPE is designed to protect workers from serious workplace injuries or illnesses resulting from the contact with chemicals, radiological, physical, electrical, mechanical, waste, or other workplace hazards. That is why swine workers should wear PPE. PPE is very important that in other area of specialization in TLE, for example, like cookery and automotive servicing, PPEs are indispensable, meaning it is essential, it is necessary, it is needed. When cooking, you have to wear an apron, cooking gloves, hair covers to protect yourself from injuries like skin burns, hot oil splatter, or splash. When servicing cars, you have to wear gloves, coverall, goggles, and boots to protect yourself from injuries that can happen while doing engine repairs, repainting jobs, or troubleshooting car radiator problems. In other subjects, like science, for example, when doing chemistry laboratory experiments, you use the required lab gown, gloves, face shield, or face mask because this can protect you from skin burns or toxic chemical inhalation while doing the laboratory tests like acids and bases experiments, testing pH levels, and testing chemical reactions. So people who work with swine should wear basic PPE like coverall, disposable shoe covers, rubber boots, heavy-duty rubber gloves, N95 face piece, respirator, hair cover, safety goggles, face mask, and also observe health protocols like hand hygiene and the use of alcohol-based hand rub. PPEs are necessary in swine racing because it prevents the transmission of swine influenza virus from pigs to people. Swine influenza or swine flu can be prevented. People who work with swine should be trained to recognize the signs of influenza. You can recognize influenza virus in pigs when the following signs or symptoms are present. Signs and symptoms like sudden onset of fever, lethargy, lack of alertness, going off feed or poor appetite, coughing or barking, discharge from the nose or eyes, eye redness or inflammation, sneezing, breathing difficulties, and diarrhea. If pigs exhibit these signs, even mildly, appropriate veterinary care should be provided. Preventive measures should be implemented by people working with or in close contact with ill pigs. You may ask why. If the spread of the virus goes out of control, this will result to mortality of pigs. Mortality means losses in income for the swine raiser. Let us quantify, for example. Newly weaned piglets' prevailing market price is about 3,500 pesos per piglet nowadays. How much would a raiser lose if 10 newly weaned piglets dies because of influenza virus? So 10 multiplied by 3,500 is 35,000. 35,000 pesos in this time is a big amount of money already. Now, you may ask, how is influenza virus get transmitted to people? You should know and understand that first, influenza viruses are thought to spread from infected pigs to people primarily via large infectious droplets expelled by a sick pig infected during coughing or sneezing to a person in close contact with infected pigs. Second, evidence suggests that swine influenza viruses can be transmitted to people through contact with infected pigs or with surfaces recently contaminated with swine influenza viruses. For example, touching pigs or handling material contaminated with pig secretions or feces, and then touching one's mucous membranes. And the third possible mode of transmission is via inhalation of small particulates containing swine influenza virus. Now, let's try to analyze all of the things that we have learned here so far. What are the basic protective equipment do you need? And what health protocols you should follow to prevent the transmission of influenza virus from pigs to people? Again, you need to have PPE like the coverall, the disposable shoe covers, rubber boots, heavy-duty rubber gloves, N95 face piece respirator, hair cover, safety goggles, face mask, and you need also to observe health protocols or practices like hand hygiene and the use of alcohol-based hand rub. Can personal protective equipment help in the basic infection control of the influenza virus in pigs from transferring to people? The answer is correct. A big yes. But how? Well, we have learned that PPE can help protect you when you are in close contact with infected pigs. PPE can protect you when you are touching or handling materials contaminated with pig's secretions or feces. And PPE can protect you from inhaling small particulates containing the swine influenza virus. Now, what are the signs of influenza virus in pigs? Again, sudden onset of fever, lethargy or lack of alertness, going off feed or poor appetite, coughing or also barking, discharge from the nose or eyes, eye redness or inflammation, sneezing, breathing difficulties, and diarrhea. So, are you still there? Are you still with me? Please bear with me and stay with me till the end of this video enhancement. We are now going to apply what we have learned. How can adherence to personal protective equipment recommendations lessen a worker's exposure to influenza virus in pigs? Our answer would be personal protective equipment minimizes the transmission of influenza viruses between pigs and people, especially that swine workers are in close proximity to pigs in swine farms. And why should farm workers be provided personal protective equipment? The answer is workers' safety should be given top priority by swine farm owners. When swine farm workers feel safe at work, they are more productive and their daily tasks become more enjoyable when they are working in a safe environment. Let us imagine that you are the breadwinner of your family and you get sick because basic PPEs are not provided for in your workplace. How much daily earnings would you lose if you are paid the daily minimum wage? If, for example, you are receiving 395 pesos daily and you were absent for a week or 7 days, how much loss in earnings is that? So 395 multiplied by 7 is 2,765. You lost 2,765 pesos in earnings because you got sick. So that is why you should wear the proper or basic PPE that is provided for in your workplace. Now, it is time for our assessment. Let us check and see whether we were able to attain our specific objectives for this enhancement lesson. Now listen to the instructions carefully. You are given 3 options in our assessment. We have an easy, moderate, and the difficult option. Choose one. So it's time to prepare your paper and pen. Let's do this. Are you ready? So that ends our enhancement lesson for week 5. I hope I was able to make your enhancement lesson interesting and fun. Thank you, my dear students, and keep safe, everyone.